Alright Caitlin, today we are going to be doing a photosynthesis lab to see the effect of sunlight on plants and starch. Do you happen to know what the photosynthesis formula is?
All right, Mr. Tony. Indeed, I do know the photosynthesis formula, but it's quite hard to bring it back to memory. Isn't it 6CO2 plus 6H2O with a mixture of sunlight? It becomes C6H12O6 plus 6O2? Am I right?
Why yes, Caitlin, you are right. You are a very smart little girl, aren't you? Now, we need to find 3 leaves that are not too waxy, to cover them in black paper. 1 leaf fully, 1 leaf only half, and 1 leaf not at all. After you've done that, we need to leave it to settle for a while and then conduct procedures of boiling in ethanol and covering in iodine to experiment on which leaves have a lot of starch remaining and which don't.
Wow, that's a lot of procedures. But alright, I'll go cover the leaves with the black paper. This experiment will be a lot of fun. Yay.
Alright. Stroll along now. Oh, you're done already? I would have expected such from you, Sebastian. You were my star student. Have you conducted all the procedures? Yes, I have, Mr. Tony. I conducted all the procedures step by step and came up with a conclusion to why the plants have different amounts of starch. The plants that were covered were the ones that had a light brown color. The reason to the color of the plants were because the plants that were covered didn't go through the process of photosynthesis, which caused them to not produce glucose and starch. So, the plants that were fully covered didn't have a lot of starch on their leaves, which caused them to become light brown when covered in iodine. The plants that conducted photosynthesis produced starch, which turned the leaves dark brown when covered in iodine. Very good, Sebastian. I see that you've come up with a very reasonable solution. That's why you are my star student. The conclusion that you've made is supported with facts that we learned about how photosynthesis works, and how they produce starch. Photosynthesis, let's get into this. Well, I'll see you next class, Mr. Tony. Thank you. Now, let's look at the pictures that Sebastian took during the experiment. I hope the pictures show all the procedures of measuring the amount of starch in the leaves. Ha ha, Sebastian did a very good job and even drew the pictures of boiling in ethanol and covering in iodine all by himself. What a smart child, but he forgot to hand the picture of the leaf that was covered in half. That'll be some minus points on his photosynthesis lab. Oh, and remember kids, the boiling in hot water is conducted so the pigment can be taken out from the leaves to show how much starch is remaining when covered in iodine. Always remember, photosynthesis, let's get into this.